This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hey, good morning. Welcome on. It's the First Alert Weather Breakdown. I'm, again, meteorologist Evan Thomason. Hey, it is Thursday, 2 days left in the work week. Thank you. Welcome on. Welcome all on to this stream. We got a lot packed into today's stream, by the way, so I'm so excited. Thursday and Friday, end of the work week. I'll be both on both the episode here for today and tomorrow. Tomorrow we're always hyped up with our Friday night football forecast, which is good for you in store. Unfortunately, what we also hype up here on Friday and also on our Thursday podcast is the weekend forecast. That's not looking so good. We're going to go into all the storms that are unfortunately targeting this coming weekend here in just a little bit on the First Alert with a breakdown. That's what I know most of you are on for. In addition to that, again, this is going to be a jam-packed episode. That is the wrong thing I wanted to show you. This is the right full screen I wanted to show you. Storms are targeting this weekend. So, again, I've mentioned that time and time again. We're going to go over the threats. We're going to go over the timing. We're going to go over what exactly is entailed exactly with our storms happening this weekend and get a little more into the specifics surrounding that. In addition to that, I will be talking all about your Halloween forecast here for the day today. Give that a quick mention as well. Halloween is next Friday, not tomorrow Friday, but 2 Fridays away, so it is 8 days away. We're going to try to give you a preview of what that could entail. So, again, that's just beyond the 7-day forecast. So take it with a little grain of salt, meaning don't take it too much to heart yet. Again, anything can change between like 5 to 12 days out. So we'll see exactly what hints we're getting at for Halloween this year. And then I'm also, in addition to that, I have an interview on the line. Devonte Dixon is sitting and chilling on the other line. He will talk to me. He's a meteorologist over in Monroe, Louisiana at our sister station, KNOE. And he will talk to me about, he'll talk to us all about local weather in Monroe. And we'll kind of have just a friendly, nice weather discussion for you then, kind of go over some recent trends and what's ongoing over here over the next couple of days. Here's a live look, though, out in the Shreveport and Bossier as we go over your local forecast first. Again, a lot to get to here for the day today. One thing I do want to mention here briefly, as I do gain control back of my weather graphics here slowly but surely, you look a little bit in the distance and you see kind of that little, what appears to be like a dark cloud on that cloud cover there. That's actually smoke. If you see it, I'll point to it on my, there we go. I have control of my graphics now. You can see on my blue area what I'm talking about here. This is a plume of smoke that's actually coming out of a little area of the forest there just to the east of the boardwalk there in Bossier. Not to worry. I believe that is a controlled burn that's been confirmed by our news station making a call out there in the Bossier Parish. But still, regardless, besides that, nothing but beautiful sunshine and blue skies. Same thing there into Texarkana. Maybe a few little tiny, thin, high-level cloud cover that we're seeing out and about, a little close to the actual Window World sponsor there in the top left-hand corner of the sky cam there. But overall, I think you get the picture. Lots of sunshine, blue skies. We're building up a little bit of cloud cover later on this afternoon. All right, so we have a chilly morning again in store that we're slowly recovering from, slowly warming up from here all around the Arklatex. That's going to lead us into a bit of a warm afternoon. A big temperature contrast, I will say, between our afternoons, which are running still very warm, and our mornings, which are some of the coldest we've had in ages, down into the 40s here. That's what we had out the door for you this morning, and we'll have that a little bit tomorrow. I will say tomorrow morning's forecast, or temperature specifically, getting a little bit on the warmer side of things, but not by that much. Then for the weekend, this is probably why all of you are here on the stream, on our website, and on our YouTube page, is to find out all about the storms here about this coming weekend. We do have widespread storms expected here over the weekend. Again, we're going to go over the specific timing here in just a little bit. Let's go over temperatures first and foremost. Temperatures 60s still right now at 10:30, which has got to be amazing for those of you getting and hopping out the side the door out right now this late morning. 64 in for Shreveport, 69 in Texarkana, 62 in for DeQueen. Warmest spot is at 72 in Nacogdoches, but even that comfortable around the region. But this heat is slowly dragging itself up. I mean, we're in the 60s now, and we were in the 40s in the peak of the morning. So that's honestly impressive enough that we've already picked up the temperature by a solid 20 degrees or so within the past 2 to maybe 3 hours or so. But that trend overall continues. It persists on to lead our highs pretty similar to that of yesterday, if anything, maybe just a degree or two warmer in the low to maybe mid-80s outside. So again, that's the high temperature for today. That's pretty much the high temperature here for tomorrow. And then check out the temperature drop-off due to storms around on Saturday. That is your high temperature, not your morning temperature, sorry. I know what it says in the title, but your high temperature there in the afternoon is 71 degrees there for your Saturday. Again, that's high temperature. Really impressive there for your Saturday. So now it's going to be a rainy day for the weekend. It's going to be a cool rainy day at that. So good day to get out a jacket, rain jacket, maybe a pair of jacket with a sweatshirt, whatever you got to do to keep yourself comfortable here for this coming weekend. So essentially we got temperatures, again, lower 80s here for today and tomorrow. Then that big cool down thanks to that cold front on Saturday. And our temperatures appear to be rebounding just a touch here into the start of next work week, leading up to a high of nearly 80 degrees by Monday. All right, let's get into the actual forecast here for you concerning these storms into the weekend. Now, actually, before I go into this graphic, I do want to show you something else. Now, this kind of shows you what I kind of want to entail to you guys, is that we are talking about a surge of moisture out to our west, out mainly into central Texas here for the day today. That's leading into storms that we're finding way out to our west. And you can see it. That's the system that's going to be affecting us for this weekend. This is the current loop of the first alert Doppler radar out of the past 30 minutes. You can see the light to moderate rainfall stretched across New Mexico into northern Texas here at this hour. Look at the direction of where it's moving. It's moving out to the north and east, most importantly east. This is going to be slowly but surely making a baby crawl over here into the Arklatex in just a matter of a few days. So that's what we're really keeping you first alert about here over the next couple of days and kind of tracking and see how it goes out. So, again, we've seen an increase of moisture here for the day today across central Texas. This is going to eventually lead to us seeing the big surge and impact. And, of course, my background does not want to update. Wow, that is lagging behind. But you can pay attention to my arrows, essentially, here, is that we're getting a big surge of some really deep green and some really deep moisture that's going to be returning here for Saturday, along with this cold front that's going to allow our storms to return here, leading into better and drier conditions returning for next week. I don't understand why the colors want to update immediately when I do this podcast time. The colors in the background, obviously you see there. But the point is, we're having an increase of moisture, increasing humidity levels, leading us into the storms that are going to happen over the weekend. So, for our future track, here is how it works out. This goes over the next 3 days, which at least goes all the way through Saturday night through the region here for you. All right, so here for the day today, a little bit of cloud cover returns, but overall, we still stay mostly dry here through today and also through tomorrow. You know, it's a good amount of cloud cover, partly to mostly cloudy skies, especially across East Texas and the western half of the Arklatex there for your Friday. It's going to look a little menacing, especially because if you're looking off to our north or you're looking off to our west, there is going to be a good amount of storm coverage across Oklahoma City and across the northern half of Arkansas for the day on Friday. But all the rain holds out of the Arklatex at least through Friday night. If you're going out to... We'll go over this forecast again a little bit later, but if you're going out to Friday Night Football, even that forecast still looks good here locally in the Arklatex. Then you see by late Friday night that line start to take shape, and that's going to come finally rolling into the Arklatex, essentially in the overnight hours. Yes, this could start as early as 2 to 3 in the morning on Saturday, almost first thing in the morning there for you. This especially will come into the region here and look to hit the central portion of the Arklatex still in the early morning hours of your Saturday. 6, 7, 8 a.m. That's around a heavy rain. Look at that. That's moderate to heavy rainfall all throughout the region there for you, actually giving us a hefty amount of rain. That's something the past two systems really haven't done. They haven't given us good rain totals around the Arklatex, and most of us around the Arklatex still find ourselves actually in a little bit of a slight drought. So this will help that, but obviously for your weekend plans, this is not optimal. So essentially, the very first thing into the day on Saturday, all this rainfall falls onto the ground, and it just leaves us with inches of rain, could lead into a little threat of some flash flooding. We'll talk about that a little more later. But essentially what I'm trying to get at is several puddles, obviously, on the roadways around. So be careful out, especially if you don't see the bottom of the road and you see water over the roadway. That's when you're most concerned about actually driving out on these kind of conditions. Now, I will say, later morning hours, this actually looks to subside and almost get out of the Arklatex here for you. And by the midday hours, we could have a brief little period of some sunshine there, especially in the southern half of the region. But if you're paying attention to the cloud cover, especially for the rest of the morning, I think the cloud cover is still what gets us, because you remember Tuesday morning where it was incredibly misty and still incredibly muggy around? I'm expecting those kind of conditions to still be maintained underneath the cloud cover, to where it's going to be hard for our atmosphere to evaporate its rainfall. In fact, around the afternoon hours, a couple more storms still form in the region here, anywhere around the Arklatex here, to lead us to isolated chances of storms there in the afternoon, and still just a good amount of cloud cover that even drags itself out into the nighttime hours before our atmosphere is able to give ourselves maybe a little bit of a break heading into Sunday morning. Even that, a couple storms could form on for Sunday morning. And I will say there are other future tracks to hold on to a major line of storm, another scattered storm line of storms, or a secondary line of storms hitting the Arklatex on for Saturday night. Other future tracks hold on to that. So my point is we're still expecting, again, a big round of scattered storms here for Saturday morning. Maybe another one for Saturday night, maybe on that front, but still maintaining very muggy, very wet, very saturated conditions overall throughout the day on Saturday to make it kind of just overall a gross day here for the first half of the weekend. So let's look at the long-range future track, because I do want to pinpoint what's happening here for Sunday a little bit more. So there's the storms coming there for your Saturday. Now, keep in mind, again, this is another future track. It still maintains the heavy rainfall that's going to happen in the morning hours, but then still into Saturday night, there's kind of that secondary little round of storms that happens late Saturday and early Sunday on a separate future track before finally drying up in for Sunday afternoon. And that kind of goes to show you the weekend here for you. I really think the bookends are looking good. Friday night, Sunday night / Sunday afternoon. Just the meat and potatoes of the weekend is not looking... Ugh. It's just going to be dreary, and it's going to be stormy here for a good portion, again, of your Saturday. At least next work week, we dry on back out here for your Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We were originally on the forecast. We had another separate round of storms hitting on Tuesday, but looks like that's not going to happen anymore. All right, so for severe weather risk there for your Saturday, it's a marginal risk only, which still gives us a little slim chances of severe weather, but overall it is looking... we're looking to have less of a severe weather threat than what we had with the system that hit us last Saturday, which leads us into the main theme and the main issue we're dealing with these storms, which is flash flooding. Now, thankfully for Friday, everything's out of the Arklatex, but I do want to mention technically the marginal risks for late Friday heading into early Saturday morning. Technically out there for Mount Pleasant and in for McCurtain County as well. But then leading into Saturday, that's when the bulk of the storms hits the Arklatex, and you got that slight risk of flash flooding in effect for not only the Arklatex and most of the southern half of the Arklatex, but also over into Monroe. If you happen to be traveling in for Saturday out towards Devonte's DMA, who is waiting very patiently on the other line for me to finish this forecast. But the point is, we got lots of rainfall, between 2 to 5 inches of it. In fact, it's expected here just from this weekend alone. Again, good for our drought, just bad for your weekend plans with the timing of it. And all. So going over your lifestyle forecast now, before going over your 7-day, here's the look at the football forecast here for you. We will help maintain some good conditions here for your Friday night. Look at that, lower 70s, upper 60s. That's going to be fantastic. A little bit of cloud cover around, but keep in mind, look at the rain chances. 0, zilch. The earliest we can get rain in here is pretty much Friday overnight into Saturday, as in Friday literally way even past game time, late Friday night. So for your Saturday, unfortunately, it's looking just like a rainy day. And if it isn't raining, it's going to be most likely dreary and gloomy in through a good portion of the day. Then we get into Sunday, a few leftover storms for the morning hours, but that afternoon I think should be a lot better. Then once we get into the 7-day forecast here for you, again, the work weeks at least look good. For the rest of this week, partly cloudy skies, no chance of any rain. For next week, maybe a slim chance of rain on Monday and Tuesday, but overall, looking like dry conditions here for next work week. Highs in the lower 80s here today and tomorrow. 70s there for your weekend. And then heading into next week, looks like we briefly warm up to 80 degrees for Monday before cooling down. And that's what I want to lead into this last forecast here for you real quick, because I know I hyped up the Halloween forecast here for you all, which I want to go into real quick on the 12-day forecast. There it is, 2 Fridays from now. And let me get my face out of the way so you can actually see the main point of the forecast here for you. 60s maybe for highs at the end of next week. Yeah, it looks like we could have our biggest cool down for the afternoon this season just in store for your Halloween coming on up. That's going to be really impressive around the Arklatex. I will say watch the cloud cover around that Halloween and for November 1st as well. That could actually lead into a little chance of storms, believe it or not. I have seen on our long-term future tracks a few models try to put some storms on Halloween. We'll see about that. I'm not fully convinced yet. Obviously, we're still 8 days out. Anything can happen, but we'll see, and obviously we'll keep you first alert. All right, we're gonna go into a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna interview Devonte. We're gonna have a good talk with Devonte. What's been happening recently with our recent weather, especially how dry summer has been, especially the past month or so. And we'll go over to some future trends, what we're expecting here for this weekend and into next week. The point is, we'll have a nice weather discussion about what's going on across North Louisiana, across Shreveport, and across Monroe when we come back after this quick commercial break. See ya after this. All right, welcome back to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Hey, it's great to see you back here. Again, we got rain for the weekend and Halloween, questionable, but Halloween mainly looking cold at this point in time. Here, almost highs in the 60s. Oh, my goodness. So here for the day today, we're getting to our real exclusive content, which is beyond just talking about what's happening on Halloween. It's kind of looking into the past, looking into the future, looking into all things North Louisiana. So with that, I'm going to bring on my good friend to you, Devonte Dixon. He's been on the podcast before. Hey, welcome on, Devonte. How you doing, man?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. Absolutely, man. Obviously, hopefully things have been going over there good in North Louisiana out towards Monroe. I know both of our areas find ourselves, especially just dealing with the past first, both of our areas kind of find ourselves in a little bit of a drought in a way. And it was weird because we were talking about sustained sunshine for so long, and then we kind of hyped up two systems. So there's been 2 rounds of rain that have happened within the last week. But even then, our photographer here at KSLA over in Shreveport said his nearby house only got him like a 1/10 of an inch from like the past 2 systems combined. The point is that didn't help us out enough. So can you kind of go over how your drought has been, I guess, over the past month or so, and what state you kind of find yourself in with that?
We're dealing with mostly like abnormally dry conditions. We still have, I believe, a moderate drought in place for southern Arkansas, specifically Ashley County. They've been dealing with basically drought conditions for quite some time now. And so I know the rain that we're expecting over the weekend will be beneficial for the Arklamis. However, we don't want all of that rain at once. It would be nice if we could have, maybe gotten some of that rain each day or every other day, but to get it all in buckets is not what we're looking forward to. So
Spread it out. Spread out the goodness, spread out the love, so to speak. Yeah. I see what you're getting at. So now the good news about, I guess the one good news about the drought and preparing for an event like this where we could get up to, say, like 2 to 5 inches of rain is that the ground can soak up more moisture, essentially. It has the room, the soil has the room to be able to soak up more rather than just basically saying, okay, we have no more room, you're not allowed here, you're just flowing down the street, so to speak. But it's still lots of heavy rainfall itself. So what are some of the, I guess, the flash flooding issues that you might be having out towards Monroe and out towards areas around there?
we have a lot of low-lying areas, so I think that's like the biggest concern. And also we have like the overpasses where just a lot of the water collects easily. So those are the different, I guess, issues that we have. And then the fact that, you have those heavy rainfall rates, it doesn't really take much for the rain to really pile up across our region. Flash flooding happens just like that. Just like that. That's like one of the biggest issues that we have here, actually.
It can happen really quickly. I remember DMV when I learned to drive. They told me one of the worst times to drive is when it immediately first starts to rain, because then you get it mixed in with the oil from the cars, and it just becomes slick very quickly. Because the roads just immediately are just slick without them being used to being driven over with the rain there. What's up?
Another issue to add with that is the plumbing. We have bad drains and things like that. That's why we always stress people to make sure you clean out your drains while you have the chance. People seem to neglect that. And so, of course, that leads to the water backing up. And yeah.
Especially when an event like this, especially because, again, people kind of, we're building up for the last, maybe not the last system that hit us on Tuesday morning, but the last weekend we had rain come on through. That gave us a chance of severe weather. Again, didn't really bring up good rain totals to help us with our drought. This one hopefully will, but we're hopefully prepping people up to be able to clean out their drains to let in a little more rain, essentially. So, yeah. I will say one of the things we have been lucky with, even with drought, is the tropics. Tropics have been dead quiet here for the most part. Now, there's a situation going right now in the Caribbean with Melissa, but even that isn't expected to hit the Gulf. So I guess, so to speak, from your point of view, just kind of dive into a little bit of just how quiet this season has been, not just for, obviously, our two regions, but just the tropics as a whole. Thankfully, none of the United States has really gotten felt by a major hurricane impact at all this season.
Right. I mean, I think the closest one was it Aaron? I think that was the closest.
Yes, it was. It was the system off off North Carolina, I believe, in Florida. It gave some surf issues to both of those areas.
Yeah, that was probably the closest. Outside of that, it has been rather quiet across the U.S., which is good. Keep our fingers crossed that it stays that way, as we are still in hurricane season. But yeah, Melissa, thankfully, is south of us. Still something to watch for, of course, Haiti and Jamaica and things like that. But it looks like we're fortunate enough to not really have to deal with that storm. And also, I guess it's just really the weather setup for us has been, I guess, helpful with not seeing a landfalling storm in the U.S. So that's always good.
These consistent cold fronts that are coming on by, especially over the past 2 weeks, hurricanes can't fight through cold fronts. Hurricanes are easily, as much and as threatening as they are, they can easily be driven out by cold fronts. With that, cold front can be like, hey, slam the door, you go that way. You go that way, you go out to the east, you go away from us. And that's most of what these systems have done, honestly, even off to the East Coast. We've had Aaron, we've had Lorenzo, we've had a few other names I can't even remember because they're kind of forgettable. And that's good news, honestly, because they've just been fish storms, which we just call hurricanes that only affect the fish at sea, which hope the fish are okay, I guess. But the point is, most of us here on out to the United States have been just fine, which has been great. On I guess what was expected to be an above-average tropical season has kind of just not been that way.
Yeah, but hey, that's what happens. Sometimes the storms pan out to not be above average. Like I know, because I know like what the National Hurricane Center, I believe, trimmed their um outlook. Someone trimmed their outlook. I remember for because the storms have not been above like what they thought they were going to be. But that it happens.
Yeah,
It happens.
it does.
So,
I guess the last thing I want to go over with you is temperatures. I don't know why I outlooked this last, but just the temperatures during the summer have been brutal, and obviously that extended even into the early part of October. People were asking me whenever they saw me in public, "Hey Evan, when is this summer gonna go away?" And they've been saying this to me ever since probably August. I've been like, you know where you live, right? This takes this way usually until early August. But the point is, I think we finally have some cooler conditions in store. To be fair, I don't think we've had extremely hot days, but I think it's just been the stretch of hot days, a stretch of 90-degree days, even stretching into early October, which is kind of, I wouldn't say caught people off guard, but just kept people uneasy, so to speak. So I'm not sure how has it been over the Arklamis, especially with the recent temperature trend. And I think you're getting in on some of the cooler air coming up.
oh, yeah, definitely. Temperatures have trended rather cool. I mean, we have the cool mornings and the warm afternoons. Of course, temperatures in the 40s and 50s in the morning, and then by the afternoon, we're in the 70s and the 80s. And that's about what we are expecting, even heading into the weekend, although temperatures will be back in the 70s. I know this afternoon we're in the low 80s, but we're back in the 70s over the weekend because of the rain and clouds. And then, of course, we have that front that is pushing through this weekend, all tied to the system that's bringing all of that rain. But as we head into next week, temperatures are in the upper 70s. And then I know we have that stronger cold front that's supposed to be, yeah, really cooling us down. So I think we are getting into that pattern where temperatures are starting to be where they should be, or at least cooler than where they should be. But I think for all of us here in the deep south, well, I can't speak for everyone, but I know most of us are excited for the cooler fall-like weather.
Yeah, and it's amazing. And I know some people are going to be complaining about obviously the rain back, especially with the timing over the weekend. But hey, look, these consistent cold fronts coming on by, which gives us these rain. And first of all, we need it for the drought. But second of all, what I'm going to get to is that's also the reason we're able to maintain these cooler temperatures. You need that consistent cooler air. You need that cool air supply to be able to help us stay cool, rather than dragging up the old famous Gulf moisture and humidity, which really ramps up those temperatures. Case in point, we had an unseasonably warm past Tuesday morning around here that was in the upper 60s and lower 70s just 2 days ago. So that was wild. I don't know about that. But anyways, trying to think of anything else. I think I've covered everything with you, man. You got anything else for me?
I mean, how is everything going weather-wise in your neck of the woods?
It's been going well. It's been going well. It's been doing pretty well. I will say for the past, like, before last Saturday, I was a broken record of nothing but sunshine and heat for basically the first half of October. People will know that, especially if they've seen me on the morning shows around here. But, yeah, I've been a broken alarm clock basically saying that over and over again. But it's been nice to have, like, a little change of pace about telling people about the storms and also being the one to proclaim the cooler temperatures being around. I think the people have enjoyed that. And honestly, if they had to pick, I can't speak for everybody, but if I had to pick, people would obviously, I wouldn't say obviously, but people would be more favorable to a cooler weather pattern being around rather than the heat sticking in place. So it's what's good at the end of the day.
I'm one of those people that I like the weather to, I guess, fit the month.
I like change.
Because of why?
Yeah.
Right. Because why are we, in the 90s in October? Like that doesn't doesn't match. But hey, being from the South myself, I'm used to it, and that's just something you have to be used to.
I was gonna say, yeah, you went to college, I think, in South Alabama. They got 80s in what, December? Yeah.
So,
That is
I mean,
true.
hey,
I
that's why I
mean,
like to tell people like, hey, you're in the South.
uh-huh. Santa brings out a pair of shorts for Christmas out to Miami and the whole state of Florida, I bet, for the most part, especially on the beach. So, anyways, we're getting a little too off track. Anyways, thank you very much for joining me on my first Alert Weather Breakdown podcast. It's great to have you back here for the first time in a while. I really appreciate you for coming on. Cool, man. Well, thank you very much. And thank you again for watching the first Alert Weather Breakdown. I really appreciate it here on this Thursday. Tomorrow, we'll have one last look on this podcast as to what our storms exactly on Saturday are going to do. Trying to narrow down the timing, maybe see exactly what's to come out about when exactly it's going to rain a little more. I know we have that little idea that it'll probably rain for Saturday morning. But the rest of the day, kind of still questionable if we get additional rounds beyond that. Again, we'll go over the timing once more, and we'll see how that affects our football forecast. Hey, that's always on our falls here on every single Friday of First Alert Weather Breakdown. We'll be on same time, same place, 10:30, where you're watching now, especially in those mornings. Grab a cup of hot coffee and grab out some sleeves. It's nice. I just like change. I like fall. It's great. Can't wait for the fall leaves, personally. That'll make for some good photos as well. Anyways, you have a great rest of your day. I will see you on tomorrow, 10:30, same time, same place. Be there, be square, and most importantly, stay weather aware. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow on for Friday.